Introducing the entirely new 2001 Aurora by Oldsmobile. You whip through curves precisely.
So, the saga doth continue. Walked up to the Oldsmobile, pressed the button on the fob, got no response. I went ahead and opened it the old-fashioned way. Came in. Key in the ignition, turn it to on, no lights on the dash, and no response when I turn the key. So, what does that mean? It means that the message I was getting while I was driving it the other day of the left door ajar being on continuously meant that when I closed the door and locked the car last time, a few days ago, it thought that the door was still open, thus it kept lights on. I didn't notice it. So I didn't notice it because I've turned off these because they were on while we were driving, but there were still lights on in the footwell and possibly in the back. So I need to make this problem go away. I'm going to take apart the left rear door. Actually, I'm going to start with the right rear door because I can get to it easier. And I'm going to let the battery charge on a plug-in charger. So I've read, and I shared this before, I've read in a number of places on the internet how the rear integration module is a lot of times given the fault of what's going on here, and I've gotten 3 of them. Yeah, I suppose they all could be bad in a way, but they've all exhibited the same messages of door ajar. So I tried cleaning back here and spraying it with a lubricant, and that obviously did not fix it. So I'm going in now. I'm going to remove the door latch. All right, with this out of the way, I was hoping there would be something to indicate what was preventing this from coming off. All right, it tells me that I need to unclip that, which will release the latching mechanism from the actual door handle. So that's what I will stick a screwdriver in there and attempt to do. But there's not room for you and me in there at the same time. So I was able to reach in there, unclip it, and lo and behold, it doesn't quite yet come out. It appears that it's some wires holding it. So there's a connector. I'll show you when I get it out. Maybe more than one. Okay, so there's one connector went into there, one connector went into here. I'm assuming this is the latching switch here, so I'm gonna put some leads on here and kind of mess around with what's going on. This appears to be what the door handle acts on. Maybe it's here. Do a little more sleuthing and figure out what I'm cleaning and what I'm testing. Here we've got the latch assembly, and when the door closes, this latch will move like that, and I'm thinking that this may be the switch that I need to concern myself with. Let's see if we can find it in the manual. Here's the schematic for the door control module, 8876. Alright, this is unfortunately just a schematic, but control here, the door ajar. So it shows, I mean, in here there should be the door lock and the door ajar. And locking should be by this latch, which goes, I guess you can't lock a door that's open. So let's see if we can pull the latch and open the door. Okay, so that, well, maybe that's what I disconnected from the other side. I don't know. Okay, so with that way. Alright, so that freely moves now. So I am presuming that it's this switch here that when the door is closed sends a signal. That door is closed, sends a signal through this connector telling the door module that the door is latched and thus closed. And that locked it. So, got my digital multimeter plugged in, and it's set for making beeping when there is contact between the two. I've got this connected here, and now that is with the door open, which makes sense. When I go to close it like that, it's still beeping. So there's appears to be an issue with the switch. I'm watching the meter and it doesn't change any reading. So I will remove this. It's intermittent. I'm going to remove this switch and see if I can work with it directly. These are tiny little torque screws there. I love it when I'm lucky. All right. We're going to go, that is not what I thought it was. That is the, well, it looks like they're combined. So there's a couple things going on here. One of these, and probably here, actuated by that, is the door lock, unlock, because it's connected to that lever through that arm there. So we're going to try, should have done this before, we're going to try the other contacts. These down here I think are the ones that go to the door, but they've got 4. Crazy. All right, maybe we'll refer back to the link. I'm sorry, back to the diagram. Put these screws back in. Make sure I have the right alignment. Okay, so now we're going, the issue is I've got 4 pins down here, and I really don't, let me go back to in the door and see what the connector that goes to this has. So I drew a picture. This is what the connector looks like on the face that goes in. So it's a blue wire, and then a green wire, then an empty socket, and then a black wire when the latch is on the top. So if I can equate those colors to the schematic here. All right, all it says is gray and green for the connectors. So I've got a green. Gray, I guess, would be that far outer one. They say that's the connector ID, but it does not talk about specific wire colors here, unfortunately. Now the door lock was just 2 2 pins. Door ajar. I don't see one that talks to the door lock. Got power windows. This is the door module that's there, and the signaling going back out to it. The door control indoors. Maybe this is lock, because this up here is a fuse block. Down here, splice pack. Here's the power windows. So I'm thinking because this is just 2 wires, that's it. But anyway, with this assembly, like I had oriented, I'm going to connect what I believe are the green and then that other wire out on the end to the meter and see what happens. Make sure this is still. I'm not getting the beat, but I am seeing a change in the reading for ohms. And I've got right now with the latch in that position, I've got nothing, and that would be the closed position. So when I open it, let's see what happens. Oh, okay. That went from no signal to a signal. Close it. All right, looks like there's not a problem with my door ajar switch, at least not on this side. So that is working. I suppose that's an unfortunate thing, because it would have been easier to replace this than it is to do what I believe I'm going to end up having to do with the rear control module, the rear integration module. Inside of here is a printed circuit board, and this is getting signal from just the back doors from their status, and if someone, and then it tells what signals go to the main computer. So the ECM is getting information, it's processing it, it sends back here. This then distributes that information to the different parts of the door, whether it's the door lock to unlock, whether it's the door window to go down, whether it's the door ajar to do its thing. So put little clips on here like they knew you were going to have to get in someday. But I'm going to put this back together and back in the door before it gets too dark. All right, when I took the door off, I noticed that some of these were missing. They're supposed to be like that one is there. That one is broken. So when I go to the junkyard, I need 2 for the top, 1 for the middle, and that should do it. Now, I may have grabbed some when I was there last. Then again, what I grabbed I probably used, because I knew that the clip on the front door was not good. Kind of collecting Oldsmobile parts in this bag. And while I've got a yellow one, I don't see a aqua colored one. Alright. So, like I said, junkyard tomorrow. Gonna get those. Alright, door, latch, handle, etc. are put back. Not the panel, because again I have to get those clips that I mentioned. We'll see if we can take the lid off of this module and look down inside. So somebody reported on the forum that there is a oscillator that cannot withstand being bumped around a lot. And unfortunately, this is not the only vehicle affected by that poor design. So he gave a part number that I was able to buy. I think they were like 80 cents a piece, so I think I bought half a dozen or something. Alright. This does not look like, unless it's buried underneath here, it does not look like what I expected. Suppose it could be underneath there, though. This little hut that they put on is to shield it from any outside noises. Looks like we have some. I'm a mechanical and not an electrical engineer, so I'm gonna pull up the site that I got on the other day and see if I can find out if it is indeed buried underneath here. So this is the uncovered hut, and you look down in there, and that part right there is the oscillator that needs to be replaced. Got a photo on my screen, obviously highly enlarged. That is the part that I bought that is supposed to replace it. Additionally, I have to short out those 3 terminals once I remove the oscillator that's on there, and then that lead goes to that pad, and that lead goes to that pad. And I don't think there's anything going to the center pad anymore. So I bought some what's called solder sucker. It's a it looks like braided twine, copper, that when you heat the solder and you touch that against it, all the little filaments soak up or suck the solder out of the way. I'll use that to carefully remove the existing oscillator and then go get to soldering. Yeah, that person has got some skills. Oh yeah, and once I'm done, you need to use some RTV to tack that oscillator in place against the board, so it'll sit on top of hopefully what's not a hot IC on that board. There's a couple of them that get the blobs over top of them. No, almost looks like, no, it's got to still be there. I was going to say it almost looked like it got removed, but I guess part of what I'm seeing is the leads running off of there. Okay, work to be done.
Introducing the remarkably agile, entirely new 2001 Aurora by Oldsmobile.